Hi, I'm Drew D'Amelia, and today, instead of one movie, I thought I'd take a look at all the movies I've seen in 2016 and rank them from worst to best, in my opinion. If there's a movie from 2016 not on this list, it means I haven't seen it. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. Also, in terms of the new location, there's been a very irritating plumbing problem in the last location, and until I can get that fixed, this is the new place. If you like it, maybe I'll stay here. In terms of why I haven't been uploading as regularly, I've had a really bad sickness. I currently have a window of health, and I'm trying to take advantage of it to catch up on what I've missed. Hopefully I'm going to be well soon. All of that housekeeping out of the way, though. Let the countdown begin. Number 39, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. I had blissfully avoided seeing this until I decided to do a back-to-back marathon of this and Suicide Squad. I think I got about as drunk as I could while still being able to process a movie. This movie was basically a 10-minute fight that delivered on the premise and 2 hours of other shit. Both portions were deeply unsatisfying. Number 38, Suicide Squad. I put this over Batman vs. Superman because it felt slightly like an ensemble piece, and having more characters can help to marginally break up the monotony of watching what felt like the equivalent of a neon phone book. Number 37, Space Cop. This was made by YouTubers I really like because they have a great sense of humor, which is weird because this comedy feels like it was made by a bunch of humorless assholes who can't be funny. Number 36, Ghostbusters. Most modern comedies are not funny to me at all. This was about the same, but also with fighting ghosts. Fighting ghosts is nice. Not laughing isn't. Number 35, Sausage Party. The joke that the food is crude was made about 1 minute into the movie. It was also made probably 100 more times throughout the movie. I didn't even find it funny the first time. The joke is supposed to be that they're kiddie cartoons swearing, but what makes them kiddie cartoons? Just because they're animated food doesn't mean they're for kids. The most popular other talking food I know is Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is not for kids. Was this really the whole fucking joke? Number 34, Hell or High Water. There was a scene in this where one of the characters flirted with a front desk associate rather brazenly, and then she wound up riding him that night, like sexually. And I went, hey, that's gotta be nice for him. That's the only thought I really have about this movie. Number 33, Trolls. I'm actually genuinely surprised how little a shit I gave about this movie. I don't hate DreamWorks. I thought this was a pretty unique premise for them to go with. I don't even automatically hate jukebox movies. But this movie ended and I went, I have nothing. I leave this movie with nothing. Like, if this movie could just be reduced to colors, that's all it really meant to me. Number 32, Arrival. I feel like this movie is more interesting to study than watch. Number 31, Loving. I feel really bad putting this movie so low because the premise really does get to me emotionally, but this was just a really boring story. Just so boring. It was actually fascinating to see Nick Kroll in this movie, proving that he could be boring. Number 30, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The magic, it was nice. Number 29, Keeping Up with the Joneses. I don't know why people hated this. I liked the 4 leads in the story they were in. It was fun. I like fun. Number 28, The Legend of Tarzan. I watched this movie with my sister, who wrongly expected this to be one of those Disney live-action remakes. She hated me because the whole time I was straining myself from holding in all my laughter at all the immensely stupid things that were happening. I think it was the hardest for me when a stampede of animals decimated a town's buildings. Number 27, Norm of the North. I liked Norm of the North better than Loving. I just like the zaniness, okay? People hated this movie because it was so ridiculous, but can't we just buy into cartoony premises? I know bears don't talk and that it's impractical to build houses in Antarctica, but fuck it! Just let me watch Rob Schneider fuck around in New York City so he can become king of the Arctic while I eat my 10,000 pounds of McDonald's. Number 26, Sing Street. The beginning of this movie reminded me a lot of The Commitments. Anyone heard of that movie? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this movie gave me hope that I could win over a hot girl with okay music. It did not give me hope that I could wear makeup because the main character tried that, and then he was violently abused by the head of his school, and then he just kind of stopped wearing makeup and it never came up again. But otherwise it was hopeful. Number 25, Hail Caesar. I'm not sure the Coen brothers have ever made an unmemorable movie, but they've definitely made disposable memorable movies like this one. Number 24, Deadpool. I don't think I've seen a Marvel movie with more jokes and more heart, but I still didn't laugh or care about anyone. Whoops. Number 23, Rogue One. A Star Wars story. The battle at the end was cool. It was like the cherry on top of an ice cream sundae made out of styrofoam. Number 22, Hunt for the Wilder People. This was a silly little romp starring a lot of unattractive people, and both of these aspects were refreshing to see. Number 21, Passengers. If your interpretation of this movie doesn't make you full of hatred, I think it's an inventive and provocative thriller. Number 20, Star Trek Beyond. I remember thinking after seeing this that it was just a good movie. I see movies as something really meaningful, but there are a lot of people that view movies as disposable entertainment. This movie was exactly what disposable entertainment should be like. I never need to see it again, but it was a great movie in every way. Good action, good characters, good plotting. I really enjoyed myself. Number 19, Manchester by the Sea. The thesis of making the audience question if it's even appropriate to laugh at the jokes in the movie is one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen in a movie. The story was alright. Number 18, War Dogs. I forgot this movie even came out, but I thought everything about it was solid. It was well acted, tightly written. It was a feel-good gun adventure. Number 17, The Secret Life of Pets. There was basically no heart in this movie, but it was silly as fuck, and I can live with silly as fuck. The title is a bit misleading, though. These pets really aren't living lives that are much of a secret. It's more like the accidental lives of pets. Number 16, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I hyped this movie more than the average person because I loved the other movie made by The Lonely Island, Hot Rod, which was 9 whole years ago. I don't think this took the comedic risks that Hot Rod did, but I still laughed. Number 15, Kubo and the Two Strings. I didn't care that this had an allegedly predictable twist. I just really didn't care about Charlize Theron or Matthew McConaughey's performances, or their characters, and that dragged this thing down. But there were some fantastic tense sequences in this, and they were a lot of fun to watch. Plus, the emotional core was enormous. Number 14, Don't Think Twice. This was such a great idea for a movie. What happens when 1 out of 6 aspiring artists becomes famous? I appreciated how the movie worked as an ensemble piece and showed the many different ways artists can react to something like this. I think it could have tied together a bit better, but it worked really well. There were a lot of very filmic ideas in the writing. I do admit that I related to this on a personal level, but it's just a smart movie overall. Number 13, Sing. I don't see what's wrong with this movie. I liked watching the silly animals singing. I jack off to Reese Witherspoon doing a sexy grocery dance in a pig suit. Number 12, Finding Dory. I do have problems with this movie because it didn't really convince me it needed to be made. This is kind of covered in Finding Nemo, and the story wasn't nearly as engaging as Finding Nemo. But guys, that octopus is so fucking entertaining to watch. I swear, that octopus bumped this up so many spots. Shut the fuck up, I know it's a septopus. And ultimately, the emotional core is so solid and impactful that this movie wins me over whether I want it to or not. Not Pixar's best, definitely not, but a great movie. Number 11, The Jungle Book. Wow. I'd never seen a Disney live-action remake before, but if this is what they're like, sign me up. I don't know if this is better than the original or not, but it's different and in a good way. The ending especially was great. I'm kind of bummed out that the movie is shooed from the same last scene the animated one had, but I completely understand the decision. Number 10, Collateral Beauty. You're goddamn right this movie is in my top 10. I predicted this movie would be a hilarious train wreck, and I was absolutely right. There is so much about this movie that is hopelessly broken, and in my opinion, that makes it a masterpiece. Collateral Beauty will change your fucking life. Number 9, Captain America Civil War. All I really needed was to watch these characters fight. That's it. I think you could just slap those fights together and I would have a fantastic time. Number 8, Zootopia. I can't think of a better place to take the talking animal concept. It really is the zenith of what you can do in a world like that. Sure, you can have them do kung fu or sing, but this movie felt like it took them to their highest point. I think it did everything right. A thoroughly engaging story. Just, I don't know, maybe talking animals are only going to take a movie so far? Number 7, Don't Breathe. I don't like horror movies, but this exploitation of blind people held my interest the entire time. It was more of a thriller than a horror that exploited blind people, really. Number 6, Storks. I loved how cartoony this movie was, but more than that, this movie made me laugh out loud. I don't usually do that, And I love to laugh! It didn't have as much heart or theme as it could have, but I just had a really fun time watching it. Also, the storks having teeth was weird. Number 5, The Edge of 17. The main character and the actress who played her really gripped me to this movie emotionally. It was also really funny. I like to laugh! Number 4, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was initially upset this movie existed because it kind of stole an address of a house I used to live at called 10 Cinnamon Lane, and I really liked that address, but I forgive it because I loved this whole thing. I even loved the ending. I never really knew where anything was going, and I really wanted to. This also had one of the best John Goodman scenes of all time. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead's thighs are amazing! Number 3, Moana. Such a solid, magical, musical, animated adventure. Through and through, it's a movie that's going to be a classic. I also think it's odd that in Frozen there's a character named Anna, and in Moana, it's Moana. So it's like Anna with a Mo. Anyone notice that? Fuck it. Number 2, La La Land. No movie this year had me leaving the theater with such a feeling of magic. When this movie was on, it was on. The problem is that I'm not kidding myself, the movie was definitely off when it was off. Despite that, it was so fucking memorable. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Not to mention I couldn't get the music out of my head either. There are so many great things about this movie that it's truly a spectacle to behold. Number 1, The Nice Guys. I'm surprised that I put this over La La Land. I didn't think a movie would top a callback to musicals, but I just realized after a while that this was the movie, out of every movie in 2016, that I wanted to watch the most. I know this because I rewatched it days after I first saw it. This is what I wish Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was, which is by the same director-writer. I loved the humor in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the idea of showing how basic movie-going expectations can go absurdly wrong when applying some realism. The Nice Guys has that, and it has a story that I really latched onto. It was an inviting mystery, and I really, really liked the characters. They had a great dynamic. I didn't think I could like Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling that much at all, but I did! They were phenomenal! It did a great job of providing a satisfying story while being subversive at all the right times. And not one part bored me. The Nice Guys. Best movie of the year. Anyway, that's all from me. Now get the fuck out of my house.